everybody. It's been a while, not too long, but I wanted to do a video sooner than later, but I've been going through some things. So here I am, back again. I was laying in bed, I think it was last night or soon, rather than later, if that makes sense. I heard an internal voice, which is usually either a channel or just me. Sometimes it's very hard to tell, but I got information that I felt like I received last night, I'm assuming, of doing this in a video, what I'm fixing to talk about. And it was a part of my mediumship, things that I go through as a medium. And so I think as a young adult and a child, messing with the Ouija board helped me in recognizing energy exchange. And I really shouldn't say exchange because I did not give my energy away, but I did not know how to protect myself because then, although I've seen souls, felt them, etc., I did not know as a medium. I thought everybody was able to do that. So I didn't know the pros and cons of it, but I did get familiar with energy, meaning energy coming from an entity of various sorts. And I mean various, from bad to good. But first of all, I want to say, please do not mess with a Ouija board because what comes out of it is more bad than good. You open up portals and they follow you. It took me a very long time to get rid of the negative energy, kind of like to dismiss it. And what happened was I just ignored it. Now that I know to protect myself and how to do that, which is surround yourself with white light, but I add a golden light around it, which is something I'm familiar with the NDA. I had went to heaven and there was really bright light, kind of golden, with what looked like gold dust floating in the air. And I surround myself with that on the outside of the white light. And I periodically say, you know, no negative energy is allowed to come near me, blah, 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 blah. You can say your own wordage if you like, but I'll talk a little bit about the Ouija board, then I'll go into what they want me to tell you. When I was a kid, me and my mom got more violent energy. They talked about murder and stuff like that. And the planchette would fly off the board. It would go in circles vigorously. When it started talking about murders, we quit. As a young adult, we started again. And at that time, when I would pull in my mother's driveway, I didn't want to do it around my children. So I went to her house. And when we pulled in her driveway, I felt what was like little kids being very impatient, jumping up and down with excitement and vigorousness, if that's a word. I was like, please, 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 come on, come on, come on, come on. That's exactly what it felt like, all this energy. And I felt like it was more than one kid because it was enormous energy. In the beginning, I remember sitting in her driveway thinking, oh my gosh, I feel them. I, at that time, was trying to pull forth the good energy, but all we got was lies, and we eventually just stopped. I don't know where the Ouija board went. My mom had it, probably still has it. I do feel that my mom pulled in the negative energy because she's bad. And I'm not just saying that. She's bad. She's a very bitter woman. I'm not going to go in depths about it. But she's bad. She put me through all kinds of abuse. And that's it. And that's not it, but that's all I'm going to talk about. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about certain things in my mediumship that would happen when I'm around certain people. And what happens is I have entities walk up either to me or if I'm close to that person and I'm talking to that person, the entity will go to them and just stand there and look at them, doing nothing. And that was an indication, hey, I have a message for this person. And so I had to tell that person, for instance, there was a Sasquatch, and it was a young Sasquatch because it was small, standing there staring at her. I was talking to her about hypnosis and what was going to happen and why she wanted to do it. And she was talking to me, and I'm seeing it in my third eye, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I know that you're persistent, but when she stops talking, I will let her know that you're here. I still didn't move. I sat there looking at her. It was so freaking patient. I mean, so patient. But when she stopped, I told her, you have a Sasquatch right beside you. He's wanting to give you a message. At this moment, I don't remember the message because sometimes, even immediately after, I kind of don't remember. And I'm assuming because it comes through me, and when it's done and over, it's gone. And so I think I'm in a haze a bigger part of the time. I'm not sure. I can't explain it, to be honest with you. I worked with a friend. We worked in the same pod, and her father came to me, and he stood next to me. And he was persistent also. They're all persistent because they want to get that message through. And so I turned to her after he stared at me forever. And it's not a evil stare. It's not like, it's just like a pleasant, comfortable stare. It's like, hey, I'm here. Pay attention. But anyway, he stood by me, and I knew he wasn't going anywhere. And my friend and I were working back to back. And I turned to her and I said, I had a feeling I knew who it was. I said, did your dad have gray, spiky hair? And she's like, yeah. So I gave her that message. She cried, went to the bathroom. Okay, now to talk about what they told me to tell you last night or whenever. I have a heart issue. They tell me it's normal. I kept failing the not the stress test, the EKGs. And so finally they put a heart monitor on me for 24 hours. They detected major incidences. I have PVC and PAC. And what that is the PVC is the worst, and that's what I have the most. And it's when your heart valves pump like this, and then sometimes they pump at the same time. That's not really supposed to happen, but they said it's normal. And at this time that I was being tested for it, it was really bad. I was getting over 100 incidences, it's a hard word, a day. And then the bottom half, I can't remember what the bottom half did, but it was just a handful a day. But finally, it slowed down where I hardly ever even have them now. But they will come back. They'll always be there. What it feels like is fluttering or a pause. And so when it would happen, sometimes it would happen like 5 times in a row. And I was able to fast enough, do this or do this and feel it and see what it was doing. So anyway, fast forward. I was going through a stress test. I think it was a nuclear stress test. And this stress test involved a couple of things. One was, I don't know if it was an MRI or a CAT scan. I can't remember. But they put an IV on me. First, I would do the treadmill, and then I would go under the machine, which was the CAT scan or MRI. They would scan everything while my heart was racing. Then I'd go back on the machine with the IV. They would put medicine in the IV. I don't know what that did. I can't remember. And then I would do the treadmill again, get my heart rate going fast, and get back under the machine. So the second time I got under the machine, I see this really happy guy in my third eye. And he was a little heavy, bald, and just shiny cheeks, balls on his cheeks, shiny. And he was just looking at me. And I'm sitting there thinking to him, well, I can't do nothing now. You're going to have to hang on. And the longer I was in that machine, the more information I got. And then it came to me, I do not know how, because I was thinking last night, how did I even know? Because if nobody's around me and I have an entity there, I don't know who the entity is there for. But I knew who he was there for that day. And so I was under the machine, and he was just smiling, and I felt his energy, and it was like that yes, yes, yes kind of energy. And I'm like, okay. So they pull me out of the machine. I don't remember what they were doing. They were doing something to cords or something. I don't remember. And then so I called one girl's name over to me, and she was not by me, but anyway, she came up to me. And I said, do you know of a bald man that had crossed over in your family? And she said, yes, my uncle. I'm like, well, he's here. He wants to give you a message. And so she's standing there looking at me like she didn't know how to react. And I'm like, he loves you. He's proud of you. He is so proud that you came this far and that he loves you. He watches over you, blah, blah, blah. And she starts crying. And she's like, that's him. We were like 2 peas in a pod. And of course, he was saying the same thing. And I told her, I said, I hope I did not disturb you or your energy with that information, but he seemed like such a good guy and wanted to give you this information that he wouldn't leave me. And she's like, no, I am so happy that you gave that to me. I am so happy. And I don't remember the whole conversation because, again, like I said, sometimes it's a haze. But that made me feel so good. It made me feel so freaking good. And when I knew that she was truly happy and excited about that, it brought me peace. It brought me tremendous peace and happiness, of course. But I'm like, thank God for my gift. I thank God for my gift. Gifts, I should say, because I have more than one. And that just, I cannot explain. I cannot explain what joy and peace that brings me. I love helping people. With that being said, I need to say a couple of more things. I'm trying to find my journey in this life. I know I have a mission and I know it's enormous, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I will never lie to you. Not once. I will not lie to you. And I will do my damnedest not to hide things from you because I feel you have a right to know in everything. I want to tell you that ETs do exist. And how do I know this for a fact? As I've stated before, they come and see me, although some things have halted, but I do know what I've seen. I do know what I felt. I do know what I've seen in the skies. I have posted a couple of UFOs on my YouTube. If you go back early, maybe early last year, you will see in the titles where I put orbs. You will even see around a few months of that time, orbs flying all around me when I was doing videos, in which I loved. And that has halted. I shouldn't say it stopped because sometimes I still see them around me with my eyes, not camera. Souls are attracted to me. I was told that as a teenager, and I was like, yeah, right, whatever. I think it's because I bring them peace. I'm not sure why they're so attracted to me. But when I was in my apartment, they really would just swarm me. I'd be talking to people and they would go right in front of me. And do you know how hard that is? Not to break gaze with whoever you're talking to and watch that orb. And I'd done that once. The same girl I was talking to about the Sasquatch, a big orb just passed. We were close in proximity, she and I, because we were on my couch. And we went by and I followed it and she stopped talking and she looked at me and I said, did you see that? And she goes, no. And I said, big old orb just went by us. But anyway, back on track. You know, I always go off track. ETs do exist. I'm not crazy. I'm not loony. ETs do exist. I've seen them. I've seen many kinds. I will do a video. I had to write all this stuff down because I don't want to repeat it. And I want to be sure that I tell you everything. And an orb just went up. I hope you've seen it. You probably didn't. I don't know. So, and I want to tell you of all of the ETs that I've seen. But I will say not all of them I know the names of. Let's just say an Arcturan. I know that one. I'm Arcturan. And among many other things, I'm not just an Arcturan. I do feel that Arcturus is my home. But I could tell you what they look like. And many varieties of ETs come to me. And UFOs too, actually. I've actually seen more than 3. My first one was amazing. But in my next video, I will tell you in detail which ones I've seen. And I'll even post my UFOs again. 4. I've seen 4. Sorry. I will say that the government is hiding that there are ETs wanting to help us. ETs have always came to help the humans until recently. And when I say recently, it's not like within 10 years. It's been many years since the government has taken over, the corrupt government, I should say, has taken over and has started lying to us. And then they start saying that they're hostile. I will say that there are hostile ETs out there. But the good ETs are trying to keep them away from us. The ETs has always came to Earth to help us, to guide us in many ways of improving ourselves, in which they have. Improving ourselves, in which they have. They're still trying to come and help us, but the government is stopping them. They are stopping the ETs and claiming that the ETs are coming as an act of war. That's not what they're doing. They're trying to change the government into helping us with our food, with fossil fuel, with many other things that are harming us. They're trying to help us. The government is keeping them away, and they're saying that they're hostile. The ones that are trying to help us are not hostile. I feel tremendous guilt in not believing in Jesus and God for so long because of my past. My past was very bad. I tell them I'm sorry often, and I tell my ET family I'm sorry for not knowing they exist, but not in a negative way. I'm just like, yeah, right, whatever, But God and Jesus, I'm like, if there was God and Jesus, we wouldn't be going through all this hardships and blah, blah, blah. But that's not how that works either. And I mentioned that in my past videos. If you want me to do a video about how that works of God and Jesus and our soul contracts, let me know in the comments below and I will cover that, because everything that happened in our lives is within our soul contracts, and that involves a lot of things. If we don't know about that, we sit here and think that, why is God that way? He's a mean God. And so many people are like, I'm looking for a wife who's God-fearing. Why would you fear God? God is so loving and caring. He's not going to, I don't know, destroy your soul or whatever. He's not a God-fearing God. There's so many things that I can talk to you about on that level. And I want to also say that me being a hypnotist and me talking to souls and higher selves, that gave me a lot of information also. And since my mediumship has grown, since I've had my awakening, I can read energy, and that is a confirmation that the messages I got, the information I got was accurate and true. So if you want me to talk about soul contracts and Jesus and God, let me know, because I will talk about that in a video. So there's many points in my life since my awakening. Well, I've had some pretty interesting times in my entire life, but since my awakening, things have become so interesting to me. And I'm here to say, I will say it out loud, I will say it on this video, and I will say it to everyone who's listening, that I will be an ambassador to all the ETs to spread the word that they are here for good. I will travel the world when it comes time to tell everybody this. I have no fear. My ET family has taken my fear away, thanks to them. Thank you. I have no fear. I even have no fear of being unalived. So guys, I'm going to end this here. I love you guys tremendously, more than you will ever know. But I hope it shifts your soul. I'm sending each of you love, light, and peace. Bye.